For a moment, the words hovered in the air between us, light and unreal, like dust motes caught in a shaft of afternoon sun. Yesterday. Such a small word, such a short distance in time, yet it carried the weight of a lifetime of expectations, traditions, hopes, and unspoken plans. Yesterday was not a date circled on my calendar. It was not a day I had prepared for, prayed for, or worried over in the way parents are known to do. Yesterday was simply gone. I remember blinking. Once, twice, as if my eyes needed adjusting. My mind rushed ahead, then back again. Married? Yesterday? The questions formed instantly, crowding one another. Where? How? Who was there? Why didn't we know? But none of them made it to my lips. What did come out was a quiet, almost foolish, "Oh." That single syllable held more than I intended. It held surprise, yes, but also something else, something tender and aching. Because when your child gets married, you don't just gain a daughter-in-law, you also give something up. A chapter closes, and I had not known it was closing yesterday. I looked at her then, my daughter-in-law, though the words still felt new and strange in my mouth. She stood before me with a calm smile, not defensive, not apologetic, just peaceful. There was no hesitation in her eyes. This was not a mistake, not an impulsive act she feared explaining. This was a decision already made, already lived in, already settled. "We got married yesterday," she repeated gently, as if sensing the storm behind my silence. In that moment, I realized something important. This moment was not about me. It felt like it was, my surprise, my shock, my sense of being left out, but it wasn't. It was about two people who had chosen each other, fully, quietly, without asking permission from the world. Still, emotions are rarely polite. They do not line up neatly and wait their turn. A part of me felt left behind. I had imagined the wedding for years without even realizing it. Parents do that. We imagine celebrations before our children are ready for them. I had imagined relatives gathered, laughter spilling into the street, hands busy with preparations, prayers whispered with trembling voices. I had imagined seeing my child dressed for the occasion, standing at the edge of a new life, nervous and glowing all at once. I had imagined welcoming a daughter-in-law with open arms on a day everyone agreed was important. Instead, the important day had come and gone like a quiet visitor, leaving no footprint except this one sentence: "We got married yesterday." Another part of me felt relief, an emotion I did not expect and felt almost guilty acknowledging. Marriage is responsibility, it is commitment, it is stability in a world that often feels like it is slipping out from under our feet. My child was not drifting, he was choosing, he was building something. That mattered more than the size of the gathering or the timing of the announcement. And then there was pride, strange, complicated pride. Pride that my child was confident enough to make a life decision without needing applause. Pride that he had found someone who spoke with calm certainty, who did not seem afraid of my reaction. Pride that somehow, despite my absence from yesterday, they stood firmly together today. I thought back to my own wedding. It had not been perfect. Few are. There were things that went wrong, people who couldn't attend, moments of stress that now, years later, seemed almost funny. What remained was not the event itself, but the marriage that followed, the ordinary days, the arguments and reconciliations, the slow weaving together of two lives. That weaving never depended on how many people watched it begin. Yesterday, for them, was the beginning. I realized then that weddings for parents are often symbols. They symbolize our role changing. They symbolize time moving forward whether we are ready or not. They symbolize the truth that our children do not belong to us in the way we once believed they did. They never did, really. We just borrow them for a while. The disappointment I felt was real, but it was also selfish. It was about my expectations, not their happiness. And happiness, I could see clearly, was standing right in front of me. "So, congratulations," I finally said, and this time the words felt steadier, truer. Her smile widened just a little, as if she had been waiting for that moment, not the celebration, not the approval of the world, just a simple acknowledgement that what they had done was valid. "Thank you," she replied. Later that day, when I was alone, the emotions returned in waves. That is how these things work. You hold yourself together in the moment, and then later the feelings come knocking, asking to be let in. I allowed them. I sat with the shock, the sadness, the questions that had no answers. I wondered if I had failed somehow, if my child had felt unable to share this with me beforehand. That thought hurt more than the surprise itself. But parenting, I have learned, is an ongoing lesson in humility. Sometimes your children make choices that are not about rejecting you, but about claiming themselves. Sometimes privacy is not secrecy, it is simply space. I reminded myself that love does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Sometimes it signs papers quietly. Sometimes it chooses yesterday instead of a date far in the future that pleases everyone else.